Hello, people. How are we doing today? Let me know if this audio is better than the ones I've been sending out for a few weeks. Let me know if my new mic is functional. All right. So usually I don't edit the videos. I just put them out as they come so that it's as natural as possible. So pardon if you see some errors here and there. With time, we'll make more time to edit and you know. So having said that, I wanted to ask, have you ever asked yourself the question, why am I here? So the question is in two parts. The first part is, what am I doing on earth? Why am I here? What is the essence of me being here? So this morning I saw a quote somewhere that I'm going to read out. It's by Dr. Paul Eneche. He said, if your presence is not felt, then how can your absence be noticed? And if your absence is not noticed, then your presence was never needed. Now, that is very deep. But the question is, what am I doing here? Why am I here? Why am I on this planet? What is the purpose of me being here? Now I realize that whether you feel fulfilled or you feel like you're drowning or you feel like you're overwhelmed, the clear understanding of why you're here will make it a lot easier for you to bear your burdens, right? So, for example, somebody who understands that he is here to provide a certain solution to the world will not be discouraged despite all the struggles that the person has to go through. And that is why it's so important for you to ask yourself that question. What am I here for? What is the reason why I was sent to this world? Now, once you're able to crack that, now most people will say, but how am I supposed to know? There's so many things to be done in the world. I agree. But then there's certain people who are gifted in certain ways. Like, for example, there's some people when you hear them sing, they've never been to a music school before, but when you hear them sing, you will marvel at the quality of their voice. Now, imagine if they now had training to it and had, all the other extras to it. You can only imagine what can come out of that. Now, but here's the thing, understanding the purpose of a thing is so important because it then puts you on the path of actualizing that purpose. So if you don't know why you're here, you will struggle to a large extent to make meaning of everything you're doing. Even when you make a lot of money, you still feel like something is missing. Now, the second part of that question is, of course, why am I struggling financially? What have I done or not done that has brought me here? Now, the struggling financially is not only for low income earners because, some people will say, oh, but there are people who earn a lot of money. Yes, there are people who do earn a lot of money, but they also struggle financially. Yes. And so it's important for you to understand that you have taken certain positions either by mental programming from when you were little, where maybe your parents were saying things like money doesn't grow on trees. Where do you expect me to see the money? Money is difficult to get, and so many other variants of that we have heard growing up. Some it might also be from your struggles growing up. There was never enough of it. You know, you had to wait for years to be able to experience certain things. And so all those things tend to make you build certain mindsets about money. Yeah. So, for example, there are people who hate wealthy people. In fact, they hate them so much that if they meet them on the streets, they can lynch them. And then you wonder, you're trying to be wealthy, so why do you hate people who are already exhibiting the traits that you're seeking? Now, that's obviously a very, funny thing going on there. But many people are in this position where they have deep hatred for people who have attained certain levels that they aspire to. And it is funny because these things tend to um, put you on a path to not actually changing that um, that trajectory. Yes, and that's why it's so important for you to first and foremost have the audacity to ask yourself these two questions: Why am I here? Why are my finances this way? And I believe when you get answer to the first one, there's a high chance that you will figure out the second one, because most of the time purpose attracts value. Yes. So, for example, somebody like Lionel Messi will tell you that he cannot do any other thing than play football, which means all he was designed for is to play football and bring entertainment to other people. Now, that value has produced over $1 billion over the years. Now, that is just one person, one product, you know, and you can imagine how far you can go with your finances once you figure out your purpose. Now, it doesn't mean that the moment you get the answer to why you're here, you're going to automatically begin to make money. No, it doesn't work that way. But it then sets you on the path to finding the systems and structures that you need to put in place that will get you to where you're going. So, for example, if somebody asks me, what am I here for? So, I always tell people that I'm naturally a teacher. So, all my life, I've always loved to teach people things. Everything I learn, everything I figure out, I always want to help other people learn it. I always want to teach other people. And this has always been the core of who I am. Yes. And it also forms my no my vision of reaching at least 1 billion people and improving their well-being. Now, the only way I can reach 1 billion people, obviously, is if I can teach many people to be like me. Let me put it that way. Yes. And the only way I can do that is by first of all producing results that attracts other people to be interested in producing the same results. And then, like that. And over the years, I have found that this path has, taken me into different spaces, some of which, helped me to make certain financial gains, and set me up on a path to achieving that purpose. And that's why it's so important for you to ask yourself those two questions so that once you figure one out, then we can begin to have an idea. Now, somebody says, what if my finances are good, but I still don't understand my purpose? Then that will explain why you're struggling in terms of having satisfaction, because money doesn't satisfy, obviously, you know. And I believe that once you're able to, sit with yourself, sit down alone with yourself, and ask yourself, what are these things that turn me on? What are those things that get me going? For me, knowledge is one of the things that excites me. I'm always excited to learn new things. I'm always excited to learn, I'm always excited to figure out difficult things, makes difficult concepts simple or easy to understand, you know, and that is something that always turns me on. And so for me, it is knowledge and then teaching, because once I'm able to learn, I teach other people, and that's it for me. So do well to ask yourself that question, and we'll see you in the other video. Thank you.